So first of all, good afternoon both. In the first phase, I would like to thank LJ Institute of Management Studies, all the faculties, and especially you, Kiran ma'am, for giving me such a great opportunity to interact with our alumni and learn from their experiences. So once again, I would like to welcome you, sir, and also thank you for providing us your time.
Thank you,
To
Sharmi. Thank you.
begin with, what are the major challenges in the future of this industry?
So, as you have already introduced me, thank you so much, first of all, for giving me the opportunity for being part of this session. I like actually we were the first batch of ICA LJ Institute of Management Studies, so which is 2001 2003. So actually we were majorly known as guinea pigs. So starting with your question, challenges probably if at all I would like to say if at all you look at challenges as an opportunity, there is no challenge. So I represent my entire batch, and most of the people in our batch are the most successful professionals you can come across in the industry as of now. And we have our colleagues who are in a like wide range of industries and operating out of there. So specifically when it comes to challenges, if at all we look at challenges in terms of opportunity, then there is no challenge. So we have recently, as in the entire work as the world has seen a pandemic, which seemed to be like a challenge. But professionally speaking, it came up with a lot of opportunities. We got into a lot of technology developments, and now as an organization, as a team, we have evolved over it, and we are ready for the next waves or any other pandemic to for the future. So once again, I would like to say that every challenge as an individual, you should look at it as an opportunity and should learn out of that. That's the message from my side for the challenge.
True. So my next question is, what methods do you use to oversee multiple departments and ensure your work is error-free?
Okay, so specifically speaking, in my job role, I take care of my banking relationships who are partners for us. So specifically speaking, I manage multiple banks. There are multiple divisions in the banks who do general insurance business, which is also known as non-life insurance. So our challenge is to get in touch with all the departments. During the pandemic, last 1.5 year, 2 years, we were not able to meet or in person with all the colleagues who were sourcing insurance for us, including our team members also who were operating out of their hometowns or their residences in the respective cities. So we used and leveraged technology. So specifically speaking, the Zoom, obviously, no one used to know Zoom before 1.5, 2 years. If at all you talk anything before 23rd March last year, 2020, no one would be aware also that there was a Zoom meeting or something which was there. Okay, even the stocks of Zoom picked up after that. As an organization, we use a more secured version, which is MS Teams, and now it has become a part of our daily routine. Even as an organization, we the pandemic has taught us, and it's a challenge turned to an opportunity, wherein even after the pandemic is over, we will have our teams working 50% teams working remotely. So we don't want our team members now to come to office. So most of the team members or the colleagues who joined in after the pandemic also, we probably have seen each other faces only on the Teams call or something like that. We are not met in person, but still we collaborate with each other and work as a team. Okay, so that's again going back to the first question and coming back to the second question, a challenge come opportunity and getting into a collaboration with a team using technology as a lead.
Okay. So how do you keep your team motivated despite of conflicts and obstacles?
See, team, obviously you need to find people and keep them motivated. That's the biggest teamwork, or as a leader, that's the biggest challenge every leader faces. But I don't think it's a challenge. It's actually about how you operate. So if you are nice to people and if you are dedicated to the people, whatever you do, the team obviously types looks upon you as a leader and wants to be like you. So if at all your act as a leader or as a supervisor is in line, with the organization policy and the goal which we are trying to achieve, the team obviously will fall in line. Some of the small things which we try to do is earlier when we used to have birthdays or anniversary of the team members, we used to go out and celebrate. Now we have turned up to a new thing, which is on a birthday or anniversary, we send a cake and a bouquet to the team member, and we have a team's call at 10 o'clock on the day. And as a team, we celebrate and do a cake cutting with the team member. So that is this. These are the small things you can keep on doing. Certain small things as a friend, you have to know the strengths of your team. You also have to know the areas of development and keep on guiding. So if the team feels that they are comfortable with you, obviously, so most of the organizations are successful because of the leader and the team follows. Okay, and the most of the resignations are also because of the leader. If someone is not comfortable with the leader, there would be a lot of attrition which will be happening for the organization. For a change, for last 6 years wherein I have rejoined ICICI Lombard, I have zero attrition in my team. Okay, so no one from my team has left in last 6 years.
As you mentioned about leader, so according to you, what are the basic qualities every leader should have?
See, leader, team or your colleagues look upon you as a friend leader. So the main challenge which when you start having a different team or a team is to set up a goal and look up to it. And the team wants to have a path or a journey. How do you achieve the goal? If at all the agendas are clear, the goal is set properly, and the plan is in place, or and team is aware about it, everything falls in line is what I think. So it's all about knowing about the product processes, goals, and working upon the small plans or the strategy to achieve those goals. Otherwise, everything falls in line. Okay, and obviously you have to be very very positive on achieving certain things. Even in the last pandemic, we as a team achieved our goals in 6 months wherein the opening started, the unlock started happening. So our entire year's numbers we achieved it in 6 months as a team. Obviously, the earlier 6 months went very bad, but we were focused. We took a number which was obviously planned well before the pandemic started in the month of February. Pandemic hit us in the month of March. Just a second. Yeah. So we already had our budgets of last financial year in the place. And as a team, we achieved those numbers in 6 months, which were supposed to be done in 12 months after the unlock happened for the country. So the goals were clear. The team was quite positive that we'll cover up on the shortfalls. We also use technology as a lever. We got a lot of innovation. We invested a lot in technology and people, even in terms of in the times of pandemic. Our MD sir, has sir had already said very openly after the board meeting that there will be no attrition in the company because of the pandemic. No one will lose the job. Our company was good enough to take care of people in terms of, because we are an insurance company, we have a team of on-house in-house doctors also. So even our colleagues who got into COVID situation or the family members, we had a team of 300 people who were standing and working overnight to help anyone in the country or the family member or the friends of the people. As an organization, we also have done a CSR activity. We donated around 1,000 oxygen concentrators. If at all you read today's newspaper, ICICI Lombard is also trying to vaccinate around 10,000 people in Dharavi. So we have taken we have tried and helped the community as well, along with our colleagues, okay, and their family members. That's all
Okay,
true.
yeah. So when you are entering in this position, what would be your top three priorities and how would you tackle them?
So I have been working with ICICI Lombard from 2007. Okay, so this is my second name. Earlier, I used to work for Gujarat region. Now I take care of national profiles and I take care of certain banks as my bank assurance partner. So as in general insurance, how obviously better known as non-life insurance also. There are two challenges, which is one is the top line, which is the premium you have to collect from the customer, and the second biggest challenge is the bottom line, which is the profitability for the organization. As an leader or as an person in the role, I had to keep a balance of both. That's the top line as well as bottom line. And obviously with the team, with our support function, our collaborative efforts along with our underwriters, operations support team, technology team, we have devised a strategy, and we obviously take one day at a time or a week at a time, and we work upon our strategies to achieve both top line as well as bottom line. And we obviously work on the distribution network as such, which helps us lot to achieve our numbers.
Okay. So lastly, I want to ask you that what do you think is a key to maintaining healthy work environment?
As I told you earlier, the culture of the organization is built by the leaders. The way you operate, your team will look upon to you, or your colleagues will look upon to you to operate in the same way. If at all you are an ideal or someone picks up a good quality from you as a leader, so even at my level, I look upon to my seniors the way they operate and the way they function. And similar is the way my colleagues and my team also looks upon to it. So the way the supervisors or a leader works, the team obviously will align accordingly. So it will also answer your third question, which says that how do you keep your team motivated to work along? So if you are positive, if you give your shoulder when the team is in the problem, or when there are successes, we keep on celebrating small successes at a time. If there are challenges, that's a joint responsibility of the team. So obviously, success and failure is a part of the job which we have to learn hard way. Okay, so you have to work as a team when there are some problems or a temporary difficulty. I would never say there is a permanent difficulty or a problem anytime. Every problem has a solution. So we as a team discuss, solve the problems which obviously are temporary. Some might be for an hour, some might be for a day, but not more than a week time. So if at all there is a problem which persists for more than a week, then that's not a problem. That's obviously a hurdle which cannot be solved. So, and if there are small successes also, we try and celebrate each and every success in whatever way we can. Okay, so that's how we keep the team motivated. There are a lot of HR initiatives also which our organization takes. So just to share, our company is also providing an ergonomic furniture to our entire team across the country, so that it takes care of their health issues, their sitting problem, everything. So the chair and a table is provided to each and every team member across the country who is working remotely out of their home. Okay, and till now, even after the second wave is over, we have not called or forced anyone to come to our office. As I earlier said, as an organization, we are now following a 50% remote working strategy. So we don't want any of our team members to come to office. Okay, they can directly go to the channel partner, work over there, whatever is their comfort level. But that also builds a long-lasting trust in the team also, because we trust our team members to work efficiently and effectively, and that's what people have also appreciated. Everyone knows their roles and responsibilities. It's very well defined as such.
Okay, so briefly want to say that if you're a good leader, then most of the problems are solved automatically, right?
Most of the problems do solve automatically. There are certain problems which require a team's intervention. I would
Yeah.
never say that a leader will alone solve a problem. He has to listen to everyone and solve a problem jointly.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much. That's all from my side. Over to you, ma'am.
So, sir, thank
Thank
you
you.
for patiently answering the questions. So, all the questions that were team related. So, since I am from finance background, my question to you is that what since you are from the financial sector, so what do you think that the impact of COVID-19, like you mentioned that digitalization is the biggest impact of COVID-19. What are the other factors that have influenced the financial sector because of the COVID-19? What has been, since you are dealing with the consumers, you are offering insurance to them. So what, what is the change that you are seeing as an impact of this particular pandemic on them?
See, pandemic obviously has a mixed impact as long as the country is concerned. In the first wave, we saw the urban markets getting affected. In the second wave, the rural markets got affected. So it obviously has a mixed impact. There is no idea on how much people are getting affected. What we see is with our finance minister and PM offering a relief package in the first wave. The same was obviously in a smaller amount in the second wave. But how much has reached a consumer is again a subjective thing. Okay, no one currently has a note of it, and a lot of loans which I see are getting into a restructuring mode. So probably it will be too early to answer this question that how many people have got impacted. What we see with our eyes is obviously the people below the poverty line or who are working on the daily wages have got the most affected. Probably the upper class or the people with the middle income group are not much impacted. Their savings might have got wiped off if at all would have contracted with the disease or something. But as such, obviously the people with a lower income or a daily wages or a weekly wages have got the most impacted is what we see as of now. But now what we have also observed is the banks and the financial institutions are also going ahead and helping those customers with the loans or the support function, and the most of the like people have also started taking villages, and the talukas have started adopting them and doing some or the other thing for this class of people also. But for me, it will be too early for to comment till the time we have some financials coming from an authority to be discussed or evaluated as of now. Obviously, the impact is there, but what we see is December onwards or next year onwards, when most of the people would be vaccinated with the 2 doses, we should have our economy coming back on the track at least by start of the next financial.
So I
So
was
obviously, it's
talking in terms of the insurance sector per se. So have you seen any
yeah.
changes in consumer behavior as far as the
Yes.
post-pandemic is concerned?
Yeah. So from a general insurance per se or a life insurance per se, I would say there is a lot of awareness which has come from the people. So earlier, the people who were thinking that health insurance we will be able to manage by our savings or certain things. The health insurance industry before the pandemic, the penetration used to be around 3% in India. Now the same penetration has moved to around 8 to 9% in India. So most of the people have started getting aware about the importance of health insurance in India. We have also seen the life insurance also growing up because they cover the COVID related death. So both the industries, overall general insurance has grown in terms of health insurance. Simultaneously, the motor insurance, obviously because of the lockdown, did not pick up, but now people are wanting to own up their own personal vehicles also, and hence the motor insurance is also increased because people don't want to travel by specifically Mumbai or Delhi, like local or metro. So people are wanting to have their own vehicles. Otherwise, the SME industry is still the same. A lot of corporates have come up and have enhanced the health insurance cover for their employee, which corporates do offer to their employees. So we have seen a lot of growth specifically in health insurance and awareness in health insurance also because of this pandemic. And I'm sure what we are expecting is in a year or two, probably general insurance will contribute 1% to the GDP of India. That's our expectation from the current 0.6% to GDP.
So, sir, are there any new career opportunities created in the health insurance sector since you mentioned that it has experienced growth? So, are there any new career opportunities that you want to share with our students so that they can, view it as a prospective way to enter into this sector?
Just to say, health insurance is still a very underpenetrated market in India. Even with 8-9% of the population in India covered only with health insurance, it is still an opportunity in India to solicit health insurance. So we already have specifically only standalone health insurances. We have three companies which only sell health insurance in India. So if at all the companies would not have seen the opportunity, they would not have taken a license only for soliciting a standalone health insurance. So it's a huge opportunity as far as India is concerned. For next 20-25 years, we see health insurance market growing from current 8 to 9% to at least 100% in India. It's more or less like telecom. Like I used to work with telecom before the insurance. So when I used to work with telecom in 2004, 2005, probably it was a market with a penetration level of 6 to 7%, wherein every 100 Indians only there were 7 people who were having mobile in their hand. Currently, probably Indian penetration for telecom or a SIM card is 120, 125. So every 100 Indian, there are 125 numbers which are there in the market. Similarly, it's also true for health insurance. So with the current situation and the pandemic, a lot of awareness has grown in the consumer, and a lot of young people are now coming up and asking for the health insurance, which was earlier not the scenario. In the age of 40, 45, people used to avoid health insurance, but now even a person of 18 to 20 years is asking for an health insurance. So a lot of opportunities is there for health insurance in India.
So, a final question from my side. So, since you mentioned earlier that your batch was one of the first batches of LJ, and you yourself mentioned that it was like an experimental batch. So, sir, how has that experience taught you? How it has basically groomed you for your career? So, what is the role of LJ has been in your career journey?
So specifically, we were the first batch. We were in the earlier campus, which was out of the Vasrapur. But with Pizada sir there, I still remember having the opportunity of having 2 or 3 lectures with Pizada sir, taking those lectures. Being the first batch, we were the pampered ones. We were also the guinea pigs of the batch. But it also came up with a lot of opportunity. It was not a challenge, actually. I would say it was a lot of opportunity because at that time we had an access to the library of IIM Ahmedabad, which was a nearby. We on the iCard of LJ, you could have like we walked up to IIM Ahmedabad library, used the literature, used the theses which were used by our colleagues studying out of IIM. So a lot of new things. Obviously, it was new for the institution also. So a lot of visiting faculties were available from BJ, from IIM, and we learned a lot from them. Rather, obviously, there were regular faculties like Siddharth sir. Okay, so Siddharth sir was also the first of the faculties, along with I would say KK Shah sir for economics. I remember few names, and there were a lot of visiting faculties, which obviously we made the relation. We kept like deep relation with a lot of old faculty members also, which is also currently helping us in our current academic. So we have been in regular touch with Siddharth sir since so many years. Okay. Even our batch, we had a variety of people. So I being an engineer, there were certain people from BBA, BB, like BCA, who came into this as a first batch. But there was a lot of opportunity. Probably I'm not able to define what all opportunities I got, but I'm just sharing whatever I remembered.
Yes, so thank you, sir. So from on behalf of the entire LJ family, I want to thank you. You have shared a lot of pearls of wisdom with us. So starting with what really stuck with me was like how to turn every challenge into opportunity. So I think and learn out of that. So I think that was the biggest highlight of our discussion. So I think our students today who are facing a lot of challenges in terms of especially COVID-19 and being locked up in their homes. This advice they can use to treat these challenges, how they can treat them as opportunity. Also, you highlighted how your team adapted seamlessly to the technology. So again, seamless adaptation to technology is something which we all should be prepared for the future. You also highlighted a lot of points about how to be an effective team leader. So the best part was acting as a leader. So you discussed about the behavioral issues and how celebrating small moments with your team, all the successes and the failures and whatever all the obstacles and challenges, if they are celebrated or they are shared with the team, what impact it has on the overall team behavior. So again, it is a very good learning lesson for us. You also discussed having an agenda. So having a goal for a team, it should be clear to all the team members that leads to effective team management and overall having a positive attitude. Um, Something what I really connected to was how you integrate your top line and bottom line team members. So that integration is very important because in many organizations it happens that the bottom line feels isolated because they are not involved in all the activities, or either the organizational goals are not clear with them. So how you have basically in your organization, how you have integrated the team by setting up a culture of the organization which actually comes down from the leader himself. So that's what we really appreciate about our discussion with you. So thank you, sir, from on behalf of the entire LJ family. I'm really grateful to you for giving your precious time to us and sharing these pearls of wisdom with our students. So thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. Have a nice day and be safe.
Thank you, sir. So that is all from our side. Thank you, everyone, for watching. See you in the next session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.